Testing, got it. Yeah, I wasn't even aware that it was that many days until I saw it on social media. I was like, wow, 500 days. That seems like really long. So yeah, normally I'm very nervous and there's a lot of pressure on me before the fights. But this fight, I think because of the long layoff, I'm just super excited already. And I can't wait for Saturday to come around.
And is not being the champion part of that equation too? I know when we spoke after your loss, the last time you competed, you kind of said you felt a sense of relief. Is it kind of that's contributing to your lack of pressure as well, do you feel like?
Yeah, I think for sure. It is a nice change up, not only, no longer really having that invisible target on your back, but also getting a 1 pound allowance. That's what I've been really looking forward to, because I don't have to weigh in at 125. I get to do it at 126, which is really nice. And, preparing for this fight, I was preparing for 15 minutes rather than 25. So that was also really nice. So yeah, there's a number of different reasons why not having the belt has made this camp really just kind of mellow almost. And same with fight week, it's really mellow. And I'm taking more time, putting it into my appearance, I guess, and being a diva, and I don't know. It's chill. I'm having a lot of fun this week.
I'm happy to hear that. And is it kind of tough at all? You talked about how you're relieved from that pressure, but at the same time, did it take a little while for you to build that hunger back, to avenge your loss, get your title back? It's kind of a weird conflict, right?
Yes. In fact, I was kind of unsure what I was going to do. I knew after I lost, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to fight again, but I wasn't in a rush necessarily. And then as I kind of fell into that comfortable non-fight camp routine and the happy married life and okay, maybe we could start a family now, then that was when I was like, maybe I should just retire. And just having issues with my knee when I did try to train, that definitely contributed to maybe it's time I hang up the gloves. But once I figured out the knee situation, I got that kind of taken care of a little bit, and I started a real camp and I got the date for Bellator Hawaii. That's when all of that went out the window, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I'm not anywhere near retirement, and I can put off making babies for a couple more years and finish my fight career.
And was the knee surgery, obviously nobody wants to have to go through that, but was it pretty, smooth sailing in terms of your recovery? Were there any complications or anything like that?
Kind of. And, my doctors even asked me, they're like, how are you feeling with everything? And I was like, I'm going to have a bum knee for the rest of my life. This is not going to change. I have arthritis in there. I've had knee issues since 2005. I've been having surgery since 2005. So at this point, it was more so about how am I going to adapt to this and adapt my fight style, my camps, my recovery, and how am I going to, just work around it basically. And I see so many athletes and fighters especially that do this, so I'm not super concerned about it. So many fighters have been fighting on on bad knees or without ACLs and everything. So again, it's just about how are you going to adapt to that. So this is Pineapple Princess 2.0, and it's just like a bionic version, I guess.
When you went back and watched that fight, the loss, what did you kind of attribute it to? Was it the knee issue? Was it something else? Was it something you could easily fix? Kind of break down what you learned from that.
So if we look at the physicality of that fight, I was outstruck for sure. She has the length on me. She has the striking on me. What I was lacking a lot in that fight, I think was not being able to wrestle. And yeah, because of my knee, I did not have a camp. I didn't have any wrestling in that camp, and wrestling is my bread and butter. And I waited too long. It's as soon as I did say, okay, I'm going to get hit, let me just bum rush her and take her down, I was able to get her to the ground where I wanted it. That was the round that I won, was when I took her down. So I definitely waited too long. I was scared. I was scared of like her power and getting hit. But the good things from that fight was that like, okay, I took her signature flying knee to the face, which broke my nose, and I was still swinging. So I'm like, I can take her hit, you know, I can take a punch. So I think that a rematch would be, yeah, it would be a different fight. But yeah, she was the better fighter that night. And, you know, regardless if I had a bum knee or not, like I can't say, oh, it was my knee that lost me the fight. It's like, no, she was the better fighter. So, yeah, that would be interesting to see what a rematch would look like.
Hi, Ilima, over here. What's your prediction for how Velasquez does against Carmouche? Like, do you have a certain prediction for how that fight goes?
Oh, that fight. It's so exciting because, as you know, Liz is my former teammate. She's my good friend. And I've felt both of these women's power. Liz, obviously, more so. Liz beats my ass in the gym when we were training together. Like, she would literally beat my ass every day. So yeah, like, Liz is physically the strongest person I've ever gone against. But of course, that's in the gym. In the cage, that was something that was kind of surprising to me, was that Velasquez, when you did tie up with her, she wasn't as strong as I thought she was going to be. I thought she was going to be able to like ragdoll me or whatever. But so I actually think, like, physical wise, Liz is the stronger fighter. And I think Liz is the more well-rounded fighter. The thing with Liz is that, sometimes she doesn't pull the trigger. And so I think depending on what Liz shows up on Friday, that's going to be, you know, who's going to take the belt home. But with that said, Liz has been on a very mean streak, trigger happy streak. So, this damn flower, sorry. So, I think that she is on the trajectory to win the belt. Juliana, I think she needs to play a smart fight and use her length, and which she did with Denise. You know, Denise was trying to get on the inside, and Juliana didn't allow her. So I think she kind of needs to do the same thing with Liz, and avoid going to the ground with Liz. That's not to say that Velasquez doesn't have any ground game. We just don't really see it. You know, she's a black belt in judoka, but like we don't really get to see her ground game because she likes to stand up so much. But I do think that if she stays on the outside and kind of just picks her shots and takes it to the judges, I think she has a better chance of winning.
And on a different note, what kind of music have you been listening to prepare for this fight?
Oh my gosh, so I've been listening to Ilima-Lei for all you locals out there who know Ilima-Lei. I've been listening to them all the time for this camp, which is odd because I don't typically, but you know, I would just every morning on my way to the gym, I would put on Sweet Spot by Ilima-Lei, and that would be like my pump up song. So lots of Ukla, lots of Ellie Mac, and yeah, that was pretty much them. Hyrie too. Yeah, I was listening to a lot of island reggae preparing for this fight.
I know you're not looking past Justine this weekend, but a win this weekend, would you be looking at a title shot again? Would be on your mind?
So I actually think that I want one more fight if all goes well this Saturday. I would like one more fight before the title shot again. And I'm actually keeping a very close eye on the Denise Kiholtz and Kana Watanabe fight on the London card in May 7th, I think. I was actually going to fly out there for that card and then go to the UB40 concert that same week, but we decided to stay home. So anyway, keeping my eye on that fight because I think that the winner of that fight and the winner of this fight, if it's me, could, we're the top contenders, and that fight between us would be, for the title shot. So that's what I think makes the most sense. And because again, like this fight on Saturday for me is my comeback fight, and it's really a test to see how my body holds up from the layoff and from the surgery and everything. So I don't necessarily want to jump right back into a title fight camp, if I can't even handle preparing for a regular fight, you know. So that's just my thoughts on it.
So what does it mean to you to represent Hawaii and come back and fight in your homeland again? What does that mean to you?
This is the best. I mean, I always say, like, the previous Bellator Hawaiis were amazing, but there was a lot of pressure. And this Bellator Hawaii has been so chill. And I don't know if it's because I'm not the main event, or, you know, I'm not the champion anymore, or maybe I'm just used to the process now and more comfortable with it. But it's so chill, and I'm like, okay, I could definitely handle fighting at home for the rest of my fight career if I had to. If it's like this, you know. So yeah, I think it's amazing, and everyone's like, what did you miss the most about the islands? I'm like, honestly, it's the people, because the minute I get off the plane and I hear, you know, locals talking, or, you know, even the valet guys, when we came into the hotel, they're all like, sup, sister? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm home. I missed you guys. The food, of course, but I can't indulge in that until Sunday. But yeah, the people are what makes Hawaii, Hawaii.